Hey, what's up? Back again. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to somebody who just joined the channel, Seth Kern. Thank you. And I appreciate your comments. I read them. And you know what? I'm in the same boat with you because my girlfriend, my wife now, but my girlfriend and I, we spent a lot of time at the GameStop. See, the deal was, guys, is that she would go get her nails done, right? At Nails 2 or whatever, and I would walk up to GameStop because obviously, guys, I'm not sitting in no chair. I did get in trouble for sitting in one of those chairs once too. They had the self-massaging chairs where you hit the button, you had the remote, and you play around with all that stuff. Yeah, I fell asleep in there one time. So rather than fall asleep in a public place, I did go up in GameStop, and I have a lot of stories to tell about GameStop. I also proposed to my wife at Garfield's whenever it was in the Clearview Mall, and I'll tell you that story real quick, real first. Let's get that out of the way because I know a lot of people are kind of interested, or you just kind of want to know what happened. Well, Garfield's is a very special place, or was a very special place. It is now the Dragon 2, I believe. Um, or the Dragon, I'm sorry, not part 2. But what happened was, is me and my girlfriend, my wife now, we got engaged, and she would always come over to my house for the weekend. I lived about 15, 20 minutes away from downtown Butler, so I'd go pick her up. And on this particular day, I got up kind of early, ate breakfast, and I drove myself to the Clearview Mall and I picked up the engagement ring. And I picked it up at K Jewelers, which again was located right by Sears in the Clearview Mall, which is now a vacant spot. In fact, there's pictures of kids going to see Santa Claus in that courtyard where it was, and it's dead. Nothing but vacant space, and it's kind of sad actually. But anyway, I picked up the ring, and I'm going to take her to lunch, right? So we go to Garfield's. That was her favorite place. In fact, that was the place that, we met when we got back together. She took me out for dinner. So that was a pretty cool spot to go. They were always fast, always cool. You didn't really have to wait unless you got in like 5 or 6 on a Friday. But so anyway, I pick up the engagement rings or the ring, and I go to lunch, and I take her to lunch. So look, taking her to lunch, and she orders her food. I order my food, and whenever you walked into Garfield's, they used to have a sort of mic stand deal, podium, with the microphone coming out. So when she's in the bathroom, I actually got up enough courage, guys, and I said to the one waitress, I said, "Does that microphone work?" She goes, "I don't know. Let me go talk to the manager." I said, "All right, cool." Now my heart is racing a mile a minute because I know what I'm about to do, guys. I'm about to make the biggest. I'm about to ask the biggest question in the history of questions in my life. So manager comes back. He says the microphone doesn't work. I said, okay. Now, all this was going on while she was in the bathroom, right? So she comes out, she sits down, and we're in the back corner, because when you walked in, the restaurant kind of went like that, you know. Red booths, nice wood, I remember. So I get up out of my chair and get in the middle of the restaurant, and I said, "Excuse me, everybody, I have an announcement to make." And right now, I have voices in my head going, "Greg, what the hell are you doing?" And the other voice is going, "Dude, just go for it. It's your perfect chance. Go for it." So I got down on one knee and I asked her in front of everybody that was in the restaurant to marry me. Now, mind you, I would have done it with a microphone, but the microphone was broken, which, hey, I tried. Waitresses who were carrying food stopped dead. And she's like, my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, she's stunned, which I knew. Um, and for half a minute, guys, I'm sitting here going, "Great, what happens if she says no?" And I just said, "Fuck it, let the chips fall where they may," right? So she starts crying. She jumps up. She gives me a hand. She said yes. She's crying her eyes out. Tears are streaming down her eyes. They're hitting me. They're soaking my shirt. She runs to the bathroom to go get cleaned up. The manager comes out, and this was really cool of him. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "Dinner's on me." I was like, "All right." Or lunch is on me. I said, "Hey, cool." So our waitress came over and she said, "I've always heard about that, but I've never seen it." 5 seconds after she collects herself and comes back to the seat, my parents walk in. They had lunch with us. And my dad, I think he had a sixth sense of what I was going to do, because we had been seriously seeing each other for a while. But Garfield's holds a very special spot in my heart for that, and that was the place that I proposed to my girlfriend, and now I am married because of it. And so, needless to say, that was one story. I have tons and tons more. But so my wife would always go get her nails done. My girlfriend. I'd always go to FYE, or not FYE, GameStop. I'd go to FYE too. I'd make my way down the mall, do a loop, and come back and see where she's at. Most of the time, though, guys, she'd meet me at GameStop, and we were at GameStop quite a lot. Um, I bought my I bought my Xbox One there. I've traded in tons of games. I would talk to Caitlin. I would talk to Jess. I would talk to Devin. You know, and they were pretty awesome people. You could go in there not knowing what you even wanted. You could say, "Hey, I'm in the mood for a first-person shooter," kind of along the lines of Alien, and Devin would go, "Dude, you ever play Dead Space?" "Man, play Dead Space, man." Cool. And it was pretty awesome. And I think I actually did a couple YouTube videos talking about the people at GameStop. And then I got to meet Nate. Nate was an interesting cat. We walked in there one day and he was sleeping on the floor of GameStop at the Clearview Mall, smelling like he had come out of a brewery. But hey, who am I to judge? The guy was always cool to me. And I don't know what the hell ever happened to Nate. But Jess and Caitlin were always my go-to people. If they knew that I had a cool game coming up, like if I had, let me give you an example here. I always liked the horror games. So when Splatterhouse came out, Caitlin scoured the whole entire Northwest area for me and finally got a copy. She also got me a copy of Saw for the Xbox as well as Saw 2. Those games weren't highly received by general public, but you know what? They went out of their way to get it for me. And I would go in and talk to Jess. And on one of my videos, actually, somewheres, I don't know exactly where, but we talked about something really stupid I read. We talked about a guy who had read a Harry Potter book, and Harry Potter, guys, was at that time like the biggest thing going. It was at the last movie. Everybody was talking about it. The hype had reached fever pitch. But this pastor decided that he was going to try to ban Harry Potter books because he thought they contained actual spells. So I came home and I talked about it on a YouTube video for a while, and we actually had a debate one time, about Lord of the Rings, just like out of the Clerks 3 movie. Sad thing is that Jess and Devin, who I thought were really cool with me, who I thought were my friends, I haven't seen them, talked to them. My wife has tried reaching out several times, but no big. Caitlin is now the manager or the assistant manager, I'm not sure which, of the GameStop and Target, by Target. And I go down there maybe once or twice a year. I buy all my games digitally because it's just easier and cheaper, and then with the gas thing. But the cool thing about the GameStop people is you could sit there, and they knew me. They would talk to Dawn about everything. Devin would not let me leave until I actually bought something he recommended, and I thought he was really awesome for that. And I have no bad blood for Devin. I have no bad blood for Jess. It's just they don't communicate. But I would spend countless hours in that store glazing over video games. In fact, I am sitting next to a prop from a Marvel movie that I bought there, and my wife came back and she liked the store so much, and she's like, "Hey, you know what? It's your birthday. Why don't I get you something special? What do you want?" And you know how guys are. We'll say, "We want the most expensive thing." She goes, "Got it." Stop blinking an eye. Um, GameStop was pretty awesome in and of the fact that the people working there really made you feel like family. And Seth, I don't know if I've ever seen you in there, but if I have, sorry I didn't say what's up. Thank you for again joining my channel. You'll learn a lot about stupid horror movies and all that stuff, but I'm sure you probably peruse my catalog, and I have lots of them. But there is a few that I've actually stopped and dedicated to all the GameStop employees. Um, and sometimes you wish you do better. You know what I mean? Um, but me and my girlfriend, we used to stay at that mall till it closed, and I can remember clear back when Aladdin's Castle used to be way up at the other end by the fountain. That was another cool place, guys, because in the late 80s, early 90s, you could go up to that mall and you could go to Aladdin's Castle. They had a big fountain at the end of it. You could sit there and have a cigarette or drink a Mountain Dew or whatever you wanted. You flick a couple coins in the well, and you were fine. But as time went on, you noticed that the rent jacked up. They used to have a Hershey shop right across from Garfield's that you would sit there and eat dinner and you go, you know what? I'm gonna go get that. That turned into an AT&T store. And when that closed down, you're like, all right, you know what? Let me go pick up a book at Walden Books, or go right around the corner to FYE, or maybe I'll go to GameStop and grab a video game real quick. And I used to always notorious to do that. I would place an order at Garfield's, and I would go grab my stuff real quick because my wife, girlfriend at that time, sometimes didn't want to walk around the mall. And I can remember that during this time of year, a couple years ago, I'm talking maybe like 7 6 7 years ago, everybody had those little uh, booths, I guess, where they would sell Christmas ornaments. And one of the people that I had done janitorial work for, her name was LaRue, worked there. And I actually was invited into the booth and I talked to her for a while. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Um, just so many memories, like Radio Shack. I handed around it before, but I used to go to Radio Shack and talk to Parrish, talk to Dave, and they got me my first DVD recorder, which sadly died. I wish I still had that bad boy, but you know, um, just certain things. K and K Toys, KB Toys. I remember buying Sega Genesis games back there. They had one aisle of action figures, right? And then the last aisle was games, and then they had stuffed animals and everything. I remember all that. And again, you think about this stuff when you're walking through the mall and how much stuff you really did, and it's a clear indication of times are changing. When I was a kid, I thought that damn mall would be there forever, and that was like the place. And then, it was really wild as you watch a movie like, Mall Rats, and you go up to the mall and you're like, hey, remember that movie where that dude did that thing about a fountain? And it makes you think of those scenes in those movies, which is really cool. Just like when you watch a movie like The Thing and you go out and it's snowing, sometimes that mental image stays in your head. Or better yet, when you watch Jaws, and you're sitting in the ocean and you think about it too much and it grips you and it makes you realize, and then those are cool. Those are cool moments to have. But that's where I got back with my wife, my girlfriend. And I told you that she took me to dinner at Garfield's, but what I didn't tell you was we had dated for a while and we broke up. And she used to work for Life Steps guys. She used to take care of, you know, kids with behavior issues, kids with Parkinson's, kids that had Down syndrome. I mean, she really she really did a lot for those kids. And so we dated for a couple years, and I broke up with her. And she came home. She went to school, guys. She went to Slippery Rock University and everything. And she called me, and she said, my grandfather passed away. Do you want to go have dinner?" And she knew about all the relationships I had before that. So it's Saturday, and it's like, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock. I go up to the mall, and I walked around the whole place twice, right? And she was sitting right by Garfield's watching me. She didn't say anything. And she's like, "I want to talk to you." So we go out. They had a thrift drug at the end of that. That was pretty neat too. You could actually walk through the entrance by a thrift drug, and it used to be a tunnel. Everybody had scratched graffiti in there, and I'm not innocent. But we go out to my car because I used to park there, and she basically ripped me in half. I'm not gonna lie. And I was ready to go home. I said, "You know what, the hell with this." And I'm slumping in my car. She grabs me, slams me on the car, and kisses me. And that was the night I got back together with her. And I'll tell you something, that was probably the best day or best night of my life. Another thing that was cool was the movie theater. My sister used to work at that movie theater, and it was right on the right side of the mall, actually, I guess you could say. And I'd go in there and we'd watch, like, she would be like, "Dude, Kill Bill's playing. I can get you in for half price." So Dawn and I went and saw Kill Bill 2. I saw The Devil's Rejects there. We saw Blade. I think we saw Speed there too. But Allie had not worked at wasn't working at the movie theater at that point. And they carded her. Believe it or not, they carded her. And a couple months later, we bought the thing on VHS, and she's watched it. She watched Blade, and she was fine. Me and my wife saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre there with Jessica Biel. That's another time I got to tell you guys about. So me and my buddy Dre, he had come down, and he just got out of a bad breakup. So Dawn hooked him up with one of her friends, and Dre knew me since I was 5 years old. Knows I love horror movies. Knows how much I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it comes out. I'm hyped up to see it, right? So Dawn's like, "We'll go. I'll pay for your ticket." I said, "No, no, no, no." But she did anyway. So we went out and had lunch. Me and Dre, Dawn, and this girl, who I can't recollect her name. We'll just say Lauren, I guess. I don't know. We all went out to lunch. Dawn paid for everything. I helped her pay for everything. We went and saw the movie, which was like at 3 o'clock, I think. And 20 minutes into the movie, they're sitting back behind us, 2 rows back, giggling and carrying on like I don't know what. So you know what? After about a half hour of this, I was like, "You know what? I can't take it." Dawn's like, she's like, "Let's get out of here." Now she was mad. I was mad. But Dawn wasn't going to let it go. You know what Dawn did? Dawn marched herself to FYE, and we talked to a lady in there named Jane. And she says, "Look, when's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming on the Blu-ray or DVD?" Jane's like, "Well, it's forecasted to come at this time." Dawn's like, "You know what? I'm paying for it right now." She bought me that double disc Blu-ray or DVD because our experience was sort of ruined. Me and Dre are cool about that now. I mean, I don't care. I have it. I've seen it a million times. But what I'm saying is the mall was a very important part of our lives. I mean, a lot of things have happened. And, it's just Spencer's. Now, there was a store, right? There was a store that every kid wanted to go to because they had all the crazy stuff. They had the the kick-ass t-shirts. They had the little sex stuff in the back if you went in there. They had all the weird shit. They had all my Insane Clown Posse stuff. I was real big into them guys. And we knew the lady at Spencer's. We actually got this punch. They had a punch card. And but yeah, I remember all that stuff. You know, it's funny because I'm thinking about it as I'm talking to you, and it's just, you know, flying in and out of my head. I knew whenever I first started at BC3, there was a dude that worked in the Sears automotive department. His name was Bill Clapey. And he was an older gentleman. You know, he was there for, I think, a business degree. But he was in automotive mechanics. So he worked there. And he would always get specials, and he'd always tell me, hey man, you want a pool table? It's $200, $300 off. You know what I mean? I wish I would have taken him up on that. You know, but the mall, you know, you look at it and you do have all these memories of it, but they almost completely get shattered when you walk inside and you realize that it's a shell of itself anymore, you know. And it's just, it's not the way things used to be. It's a really strong reminder that times are changing, malls are dying, you know. And people always ask me, you know, hey, you used to go to the mall all the time, man. Why are there no stores there? Because it's easy. Because the owners of the mall jack the property tax up, or the rent up. So when you can actually kill a mall if you own it by causing too much rent. You're not going to have people willing to pay, and that's just business. It's just like if you, like Apple right now, I saw a thing on the news, right? Apple says, you know, hey, we're not selling any of these watches because of the import. We don't want anything coming in or out and this and that. But if you own an Apple Watch, say that I own it, Seth, and you want it, and the demand is so high, I could say, okay, that was like normally a $200 Apple Watch, but now I'm going to jack it up to $500. Doesn't make any sense, but that's how you can kill them all. The other real quick mall story I want to share with you doesn't have to do with Clearview Mall. It has to do with the Century 3 Mall. And whenever I was a kid, my grandma lived in McKeesport, a stone's throw away from the Century 3 Mall. And that mall was awesome because it had like 4 stores, or I'm sorry, not 4 stores, 2 or 3 floors, and it had tons and tons of stores in there. Toys R Us. It had the Brown Derby, which we went to eat whenever I was a kid. It had Sears, a double floor Sears, before Boscov's took all that over. Boscov's is another thing, guys. Me and my cousin Jeffrey and 2 of my friends, Jake and John. Wait, Jeff wasn't with me. So me and Jake and John were there the day Boscov's moved into the Clearview Mall. The owner was from Texas. You know how I know? Because I met him and he gave me an umbrella, which is still sitting probably in the storage room. And again, that's another store we go in all the time. But I know that store's not in danger of going anywhere. My buddy Ted works there. He works in the shoe department. Look up Ted Cogley, guys. You know what I'm saying? But, so anyway, back to the Century 3 thing real quick. You know, I used to run around that store when I was a kid. And whenever I was about 10 or 11, someone said, hey, you know, that mall, they shot this zombie movie in this mall, dude. Check it out. So I remember going to a place in Butler called Primetime Video. And I got Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 version. And I watched it. And don't you know, guys, all those stores that I used to run through were still there. And they were shown in the movie. Now, there is an extended mall cut I have around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. But it was just neat to walk through, you know, where they filmed movies at. And you look at the courtyard, you know, I can remember looking at it, and after seeing that movie, because I'd go up to my grams maybe once or twice a month. The whole family would go, and we'd always end up going up there when Graham could go. My grandfather could drive. Drove one of those big Cadillacs, like the mafia had. And we'd go up there, and it would be all day. Grandma would buy you every kind of toy, every kind of thing you'd always want. You'd eat good. You'd come home. But I remember looking at that courtyard and remembering that scene where Tom Savini and the motorcycle guys come through there and they're just attacking these zombies, and it was great. And those are memories you can't get back. And I don't know. Anyway, once again, Seth, welcome to the channel. I hope you are very entertained, and I'm glad that you subscribed. Sorry I didn't get back to you. As you know, Christmas is really hectic. And I do try to get back, and a lot of people don't know that about me. If you write me something, I will try to write you back. I had a guy tell me once that, hey, Greg, I can't hear your VHS commentary. So I redid the whole thing for him, and I said, sorry, sometimes I hold the phone because I can't brace it against anything or something like that, or I just get an idea and I free fall it like I did with the FYE thing. Yeah, and Casey and Emily, I want to thank you for the Christmas card. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Me and the wife really, really appreciate it. And to everybody, if I don't drop a video, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. And there's a kid I want to address. His name's Noah. Noah works down at the local gas station. And he told me that he doesn't subscribe to anything but 2 channels, me being one of them. And I just wanted to thank him, because I'm glad that I can be on somebody's priority list. I'm glad that people out there pay attention. And I just want to say, if you're ever traveling through Butler to go to Boyers, stop at Annandale. Those guys are awesome. There is nobody else better. I've known them a long time. Me and my wife get dinner from there quite a lot. They are very cool cats. And, drop in sometime. But I just wanted to follow up, and this is, I guess you could title these 2 videos Memories of Stores Gone By. That's how you title that one. But again, if I don't drop a video, I hope everyone out there has a Merry Christmas. And we'll drop one as soon as we can. Like I said, I'm hoping to get that Oppenheimer DVD so I can review it, because I know that thing is really hot. And again, Best Buy can't keep it in stock, so that's why I'm hoping yours truly gets a copy. So we can just, review it for you, let you know exactly what it is, because it's already been named one of the top movies of the whole century. So just gonna see, maybe Christopher Nolan's onto something. Who knows? Anyway, GW, Merry Christmas.